Hey there, my name is John. You are watching the Strix YouTube channel, and what a crazy time we live in, right? Today, many people might find themselves working from home, and as a person who's worked from home for a very long time, I wanted to share some of the tips that really made the whole experience a lot easier for me, because I've also experienced probably the worst, better, and best case scenarios for working at home. You know, at first I worked from a spare bedroom in my house. That worked out, that was probably the better case scenario. And then I had to move to the basement when we started having children, and that was probably the worst case scenario. And then the best case scenario, I actually built a purpose-built home studio out in my backyard, which I'm in today. But no matter where, if you're working from the living room in a small apartment, or if you are working from home in a dedicated space like this, I do still have tips to make all three of those scenarios just a little bit easier. Number one is, to the best of your abilities, continue to keep your routines. So not only waking up at the same time, trying to eat around the same time, and ending work at the same time. That is a very important one. Luckily, because a lot of you will no longer be commuting, that time that you were spending commuting, you can either add a little bit more sleep to that, but I like to keep that time for having a slower breakfast, taking the time to make a nice breakfast, or even doing a little bit of stretching and meditation in the morning to really get started. So reinvest that commute time into something very productive, and sleep is a big factor of that one as well, but still try to start around the same time, end around the same time, and we'll talk about breaks in a minute. Number two, and it's a major component of that routine, is continue to dress for the job that you have. You don't have to get into a suit and tie every day to sit around your house, but still prep yourself in the morning like you were going to the office. Make sure you shower, you shave, you put on, you don't have to go into a full work outfit, but dress like you were going into the office in a casual environment anyway. Even for me, on days that I know that I won't be on camera, I still make sure I'm shaved, and I will, fix my face a little bit. I'll use our concealer or our tinted moisturizer so that I still feel camera ready, because even today, you may get on a Zoom call and you wanna look best for a Zoom call or some sort of web meeting. Because a huge hurdle of working from home is a lot about the mentality, and when you look and feel your best, you will do your best work. And so keeping your routine, making sure you're still getting dressed and ready for work is a really big one. We'll also have a video linked below on how to look your best on Zoom, so check that out as well. Tip number three is to set up a workspace. Dedicate, whether it's a part of a kitchen table or a spot in your living room, upstairs, dedicate a separate workspace to go to and work, but then also have some flexibility within there. It's good to sit for a while, to stand for a while, but I'd say the best advice is to really avoid your bed. You don't want to associate, there's a mental association with physical locations, and you want to avoid associating bed with work. You want bed to be sleep and rest, so find the couch, the kitchen table, some kind of setup where you can really dedicate some work to, and to know that when you go to this place, that will be work. Number four is to take breaks and make sure you are taking the time to move around. The benefit of being at home is you can do things you would not normally do in the office. So while I used to take walks at the office, or like go out into the city and walk around a little bit, that is a nice benefit. You can go walk in your neighborhood, you do some stretching at home. I always like to try and fit in some kind of light workout in the afternoon, because that's usually when you need a pick-me-up, 1:30, 2 o'clock. If you can get a little bit of stretching in there and then really propel yourself for the rest of the day. Make sure you're taking breaks, make sure you're stepping away from the computer for a little bit, because in a normal office environment, you have these spontaneous conversations with other people, and so you're missing on that a little bit, but you still need to take a break and really refresh mentally. And number five is to avoid the meeting trap. So meetings can be deadly in any office environment, but especially when everybody is working remotely, you may get invited to meetings that you may not contribute to, or you may not be a part of, and it's really easy just to add people onto the calendars. Avoid getting associated with too many of those meetings. And similarly, while you should have some sort of Microsoft Teams or Slack where everybody's communicating all the time, it's best to schedule time out to really do deep work, because your best work is going to be done when you're free of distractions. Silence the notifications, turn off your email for a little bit, and really make sure you're taking the time to focus on getting deep work done. Since you're at home, you can play your music as loud as you want and really have that time dedicated to yourself, but make sure that you're not getting tied into too many meetings, spending too much time in the chat, separating yourself a little bit, and having time to focus on things you need to get done, and scheduling that into your calendar so that you still have time for yourself. So there's 5 quick tips for you to be your most productive as you are working from home. And remember, a lot of this is a mental thing. It's about mentally, where are you working, how are you working, and making sure that you still have that work-life balance as much as possible. You can let us know down in the comments below your favorite tip from working from home. We hope everybody is safe out there, and we'll continue to put out relevant content like this, but also tutorials, as we are always planning on the channel. Love to hear from you guys if you have any suggestions there. That is Strix, you more handsome.